I'm your host, Felipe Rose, and welcome to the Disco Chronicles and beyond. This podcast is about the disco era, the music, the culture, and the impact it's had on the world today, and why disco is still so hot. After successfully touring the world for over 4 decades as one of the original co-founders and members of the world-famous Village People, selling over 100 million records, this disco king truly knows a thing or two about the disco era. So sit back and relax and enjoy my conversation with my guest today. Welcome to another episode of the Disco Chronicles. I'm your host, Felipe Rose. Thank you for listening to us on Spotify.com and Anchor FM. And thank you to my ride or die girl, my associate producer, Estela Nena Crespo, who, let me tell you guys, this show wouldn't be possible without her and all the editing that we do and the research and what have you. My guest today, let me clear my throat for this one. My guest today, DJ M-Traxxx, 3 X's, and I go back decades. Ever since he attended his first Village People concert. Yep, his first Village People concert, and we instantly became friends. And the relationship grew from there as brothers in this thing called music. DJ M-Traxx's government name is, he's gonna hate me for this, is Manny Cuevas. He's a Puerto Rican DJ from Miami, Florida. His love for disco, house music, acid house is out of this world. He even has his own mix show called Leather Disco. We'll ask him more about that later. He plays internationally, has remixed a handful of songs, too many to mention. Yet I knew eventually the day would arrive when we ended up working together on a remix for a song I was releasing during the huge court battle and litigation fight with the original ex-lead singer and the one that replaced him in my group, Village People, in 2017. But this is not about that. Nope, not at all. I don't dwell in negativity or scandal or drama or even look in the rearview mirror. It's not my style. That's why I look so good. Instead, I broke away from that hot mess and popped back into the recording studio to record and remake a version of this disco classic. Going back to my roots by Odyssey, letting my fan base know that I was going to be alright okay, thus the title of the song. In fact, there were 4 versions of the song. The late Richie Havens, who wrote it, I believe, and recorded it. Then in 1981, Odyssey recorded it after their giant disco hit, Native New Yorker, followed by RuPaul recording it in 1993. Then yours truly in 2018. Each version has had a special meaning to the artist that recorded it and for their fans. Going Back to My Roots was released and the Native American Music Awards embraced it and nominated it, and it won Best Dance Single of the Year 2018 at the NAMMYs. DJ M-Traxxx, and the Working Brothers of Miami made a brilliant remix of the song, and it ended up on more than 50 mixed shows around the world. Please sit back and listen to my conversation with DJ M-Traxxx. Gentlemen, it is without further ado that I bring him before I lose him again.
I can't see you.
You can't see me?
No. Hold on one second.
You got your glasses on?
Yeah. Yeah, I do, but I can't see.
Oh, I see you now.
I can't see you.
Well,
Hello?
then you know what? We see you. We see you.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to talk to me, and we'll like we normally do when we speak every few months on the phone.
Okay.
So Manny, DJ M-Traxxx, we're gonna be opening the show, this episode with the Working Brothers, and then we're gonna end with your mix of Going Back to My Roots,
Okay.
which won a Native American Music Award in
Nice.
2018. And
Nice.
then in the middle, we're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna play probably from your leather disco
Okay.
mix that starts.
Okay.
Give
Okay.
me, give me something special. This is something special for you, New York City Peach Boys,
Yep. And yep.
and then goes right into San Francisco
I think
Hollywood.
I think it goes right into Donna Summers, isn't it?
It goes into Donna Summer, but we are in there in that mix.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. You are. Yeah.
So, welcome to the Disco Chronicles. My God, it's been so long since I've seen you. You
I
act,
know.
you actually got gray on me. La Chiva.
Well, I actually, it's funny. After I started, I haven't played it off for a while, so I decided to let my hair grow gray just for a little bit. You know what I mean? I mean, I'll change it. I mean, I used to do hair. You know what I mean? So I even
Right.
won a competition for coloring hair. So,
Well, let's
you
talk
know,
about first of all our trajectory so that our listeners can listen and find out who are you. You're
okay,
a DJ, producer, remixer. We first
correct.
met. We first met. Go.
We first met when the internet first came on. You had well, first of all, I went to look up the Village People, and then I found out through there that you had your own website. And I went to your website and there was a chat room, and we started talking. And from there, um, I remember you said, "Send me a picture." I said, "Okay, let's send you a picture." I sent you a picture, and you're like, "Wow." And you go to me, "You got hairy legs, don't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do."
Oh, but you're okay now. You're giving a lot of 411 that we can't talk about stuff like that today because you can sexually harass somebody just by
No, okay,
talking,
okay, yeah,
just by
okay.
talking like that today.
No,
We're
I know,
we're,
but I'm not like
we're
that.
living in some pretty serious, messy times. People are just
Oh
we
yeah.
we met and you came to the concert and then we hit it off and,
Okay.
and
Okay.
you became a super fanboy.
Yeah, well, I was a super fan boy since 1977.
Okay, but then your love for disco, like that is what was our connection. Your love with
Yeah,
disco.
exactly. Yeah. I lived through disco even before it was like it was called disco. I mean, we're talking like 74, 75. When there was
Those
no
are the
FM
early,
radio.
those are the early roots. The early roots of
Yeah,
disco.
exactly. Motown, the Philly sounds, it was dance music, and I would say like around 1976 was the first time I heard the term disco. Um, and then at that time, my cousin Fernando was a DJ, and he was going for a job interview, and he was like the first person that had a cassette deck in his little Volkswagen. And he goes, "Man, you gotta listen to this group." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Who is it?" He goes, "The Village People." I'm like, "Village People." He goes, "Check it out." So we're going to his job interview, and he puts on the tape, and we played it. Because there's only four songs, but we played it over
Oh,
and over and
that
over.
was the first album.
The first album, right? 77.
Only four songs, right?
Well, yeah, and I was hooked ever since, man. And then it seemed like you guys made albums pretty quick, like between 1977, 78,
That's
79, and
it. That's
80.
kind of sad, isn't it? It's kind of sad because today, when you really think about the way they the way they promote music, the way they put out music. Okay, let's just take for example Taylor Swift. She
Okay.
drops an album when she releases almost every song on the album with a video.
Yeah, yeah.
Every artist today, artists can ride one album. Ed Sheeran rode his first album for 2 years, releasing one
Wow.
single after another. And and so
Exactly.
I can't, it just blows my mind the way you just said that by saying that
Hmm.
we could have literally have rode the chart action and rode the album for a good year and then go to a
Oh
second
yeah,
album. We were putting out two
absolutely.
albums a year. What a waste
Yeah,
of money.
yeah. I mean, you could, yeah, definitely could have done that. Even with just the first two albums, you guys could have rode like 3 or 4 years with that alone. You know, every track on both albums, the first two albums was a Macho Man album coming out. That came out was 78, right? Macho Man?
78, yeah. 77 was
Okay,
the
so
first
yeah,
one. 78 was the second one, was Macho Man,
yeah. And Macho Man
which
had a
was a
lot of good
medley,
songs
which is
there.
it was a medley, by the way.
Right, with
Uh,
I am
Come on,
what
say it,
I
say it.
what I am, I'll be.
You
But
know, Manny DJ Tracks, DJ M-Traxxx, he knows literally every song from every album, every not
absolutely.
just the singles, but the cuts. Like you
Oh
know
yeah,
them. You're a real fanboy.
absolutely. Oh man, yeah. I mean, I even all right, check this out. I know I told you I think I told you this story before, but I even like after your second album came out, I even went to the album, looked for an address. I wrote a letter and I said, I want to be part of this group. Okay. I sent them a picture of me with no shirt on, and I actually got a reply. It was fast. It was like within a couple of weeks, I got a reply, and he said, whoever wrote it, I don't know who wrote it, was you look great. We're very, we're like, that's amazing that you're such a big fan. Um, they go, try again in a couple more years. You know what I mean? You're still too young. I was just a little couple years too young. I said, okay, cool.
How old were you?
Okay, 77, I was 13. But at that
Ah,
time,
Manny.
I
Oh my
know,
God.
I
Oh my
know,
God, no way. Oh my God, that's awesome. You know, the thing
but
is,
I,
ladies and gentlemen, the reason why he brings up the hairy legs and all that, because my type is guys that they grow mustaches and beards, okay? And when I first met him physically, we met when we first met, after one of my concerts, I thought, oh wow, he's really cute gay guy. And he kept looking at me saying, I'm not gay, I'm straight. This is my daughter.
oh, by the way, that picture right there is me and her at your concert. Can you see it?
I said, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
but
much
she
for
was
that.
young.
I mean, she
She
was,
was young then. She's young then.
oh yeah, yeah.
She's
She's married
married.
now and she got two kids, got two grandkids now. Alexa turned 11 days, and Jaden turns 7 next month. So
Yeah.
yeah, years are going by fast.
What's interesting, please say hello to them for me. Um,
Oh, I will. I will. They
what's
love you.
interesting,
They love you,
yeah,
man.
thank you, thank you. The interesting thing about our relationship is that, through disco, and you being such a diehard fanboy of Village People, um, what kept us together and in contact was the music.
Absolutely right.
And then in
Absolutely right.
2018, after the group that broke up badly in a really
Hmm.
horrible, not train wreck, like a bad divorce, like really, like the way
Right.
divorces go, I can imagine. Well, imagine I was divorcing six, seven people at one time. I went right back into the studio. I said, I'm not going to let that situation put my light out. And then we got back in touch together. We got back in touch again.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then you asked me what I was doing. I told you, and you said, I'd like to maybe take a stab at your song,
Hmm.
um going back to my roots, which was a cover of the Odyssey song, by Odyssey. They had Native New Yorker,
Hmm.
but then they put out Going Back to My Roots, and I said sure, why not? And that was my answer to my fans around the world. Recording that was basically, um the message was that I'm fine here, but now I'm gonna go back to what I know, which is
Hmm.
music. I'm gonna go back to my roots, to where it all started. And the mix that you gave me, we're gonna play on the show, was
Oh,
you
okay.
gave me two mixes, one
Two
by
mixes,
you,
yeah. Hmm. And one by
one by
me and my
you.
partner, my musical partner. Josh Riptide. We go under the as the Working Brothers. We've done work for other artists as well, but we wanted to give you something like how can I put it? Something that you could perform more commercially. And not only that, he just got a program that featured the cuatro, the Puerto Rican cuatro guitar, el cuatro, that guitar. It's real popular in
Yes.
Puerto Rico. And so that's why we call it the Jibaro mix.
Oh, the
Because it was like,
Hibaro mix. Okay, got it. And I
yeah,
never knew why
yeah,
you called it that.
it was because of the cuatro. He's like, we got to use. I go, yeah, heck yeah. He's because you're half Puerto Rican, and I'm like, that'd be perfect. And then of course I did the underground mix because I was doing a bunch of shows at the time, and Berlin was really into that old Chicago sound, the acid sound. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give them something good. But you know what? I gotta thank you. Something that I never told you when when you give me the okay to do the remixes. I was going through a divorce, man, and that was my therapy. So I just want to say now,
Oh,
thank you. You know what I mean? I was going through a divorce, and that remix hit my mind on the music,
okay.
and I just want to say thank you. You know what I mean? Because
You're welcome.
yeah, I put it all on the music, all my feelings and everything, man, and that's what came out.
Music for me has its touchstones and its markings, its settings, where I
Absolutely.
can literally remember, I can actually remember what I was going through or where I was at a moment in my life where there was either difficult or had to jump a hurdle, and there is always
Hmm.
this one song or several that take you through it,
Yeah, yeah.
carry you through it.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like a smell, a certain smell, like I don't know, perfume or something. I'll smell a certain perfume. I'm like, oh man, that reminds me of a certain time or whatever. That's one thing I miss about up north, like the autumn.
No, you like a
And
certain perfume when you've seen the lovely ladies walking by.
you're crazy. You know what? It's funny because I'm like, I was telling my siblings, I'm like, man, I go, Felipe, not only is he a great, you're an artist, you're a solo artist, group artist, but if he wanted to be actor, comedian, you're so funny, man. I'm like, he could do that too.
Yeah,
I
but I'm
mean,
funny with
it's like,
friends and people I know. I don't know if I'm really like that in public, like overall. Um, because the truth is, but thank you for that. Thank you for those compliments. And I accept them, every one of them, because I adore you. The
oh,
thing is,
likewise.
that the pandemic scared me. It scared
Right. Yeah.
the bejesus out of me, and now people are frightening to me. I have to be very
Yeah.
careful. I'm still with I still have a tendency to fall back into PTSD. If I'm
Right.
around the wrong energy or the wrong
Right.
people, I have to like pull away, and
Right.
I'm guarded. Um,
Right.
but again, where would this world be without music? Seriously.
Oh,
And where would the
my
world
life.
have been? Where would the world have been during the pandemic when disco made an even bigger comeback over the
Oh my
internet?
God. Yeah. Big time. Big time. I mean, to me, without music, life would be off key, man. Easy as that. It's like, I mean, going back to the days, it's funny because like when I was growing up, I would wake up. I mean, what elementary kid, school kid would wake up an hour and a half early to play records to get himself motivated to go to school? I did it through my elementary. I did it through my junior high school. At junior high school, I was playing you guys' records, and then high school. You know what I mean? I would wake up an hour, hour and a half, even 2 hours, and listen to music while meet my Lucky Charms, and will get inspired for the day.
Sure.
Like that would,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And my parents are like, "You're so obsessed with this music." I'm like, mom, but they understood. I mean, they're like, they understood. They knew
I
that
mean,
that was my passion.
I used to be like that. I mean, and that was one of the perks of living alone, that I could wake up in
Hmm.
the morning, and depending on my mood, if I was feeling very, thank God it's Friday, then it was
Hmm.
disco all day long. And there are other moments where you're feeling more somber and you're more in a metaphysical sense. Um, Sort of, you know, I tap into these uh music channels on YouTube that have meditation, music for
Right.
meditating, or chill
Right.
music, chill
Yeah.
jazz. It
Hmm.
depends. Um, because now putting TV on is it's just makes no sense at all. I mean, everyone is a talking head now. Um,
Oh, no, no,
I've re
absolutely. Like,
I've refrained from putting down what I like and what I don't like, or even a
hmm.
movie where someone is disgruntled sitting behind a keyboard and they just want to bash that good energy
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
take your dream, your day, and step on it. So I'm kind of gun shy, especially with Facebook. I'm kind of I'm taking a light vacation. It's called a Miller Light. But let's
Yeah.
talk about, you have this several mixes that you do. You have a lot of
Yeah.
mixes on
Podcast.
SoundCloud and your podcast, but your podcast is
Hmm.
Leather Disco. Why the name?
Well, mainly because of Glenn Hughes. Glenn
Okay.
Hughes.
Please
He was the
tell please tell our fans who
well,
Glenn Hughes was.
Glenn Hughes was the original Leatherman from the Village People, and actually, you and him were my two favorite ones. You know what I mean? And
Not the
Glenn
construction
is
worker.
no, 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 no. Don't get me wrong. I loved all you guys, man. But like for
Right,
some
no, I
reason,
know.
like
I'm kidding. I'm
yeah, I
pulling your
mean,
leg.
for some reason like that, plus, my uncle was a biker too. I had an uncle that was, my uncles were hippies, man, and they influenced me too. But just seeing Glenn with that biker, the leather, and the chain, I thought he was like the coolest guy around. And then with you, I fell in love with the Puerto Rican side of you because of Taino Indians. You know what I'm saying? I come from Puerto Rico. I had a very big collection of
It's an indigenous
Indians.
tribe, the indigenous tribes before the Spaniards got there that of
Correct.
course were suddenly disappeared. The Taino
Right.
tribe.
Exactly. So at that time, like my grandfather used to always talk to me about that, about the Tainos and all that. So I was really into like Indians. I used to have a collection of cowboys and Indians. And then on top of all that, I've always wanted to be a cop.
Ah,
And so right after I
so
finished high school, I went to law school. Huh?
so you really wanted to get into the group. So you had a fantasy about the cop. You wanted to join the village
No, no,
people,
no.
and then you ended up becoming good friends were you good friends with Glenn Hughes? I mean, did you get
No,
to know
no.
him? Did you get to know
Yeah,
him
well, I got to meet him. Yeah, I did. You guys
or
performed at a
meet him
club.
or meet him?
Yeah, yeah, I met him, but I never really got close like that. I mean, I wish I would have, because he seemed really down to earth and
He
cool, man.
was. No, he was.
You know?
He's dearly missed. That's a sound voice
Oh,
that I definitely could have in my life right now. Always
wow. Yeah.
had some good advice over a cigarette. For
Yeah,
smoke
yeah, yeah. Yeah, he
four
smoked
packs
it.
a day. That's a
You're
lot.
kidding me.
No.
Are you serious? Wow. Well, he
Yeah.
had a great voice though. He had that really the deep voice, right?
Well, he had the
You know,
voice and the
so
mustache. He had the baritone. He was a baritone.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He was good, man. So I was just really into that, man. And what was the question again? What was
Well,
the
the
question
thing is
again? I'm
that what
sorry.
we're talking about disco when I first met you and how you were still and you still love disco because
Oh, I love it.
you have
Yeah.
your show called Leather Disco. So the leather
Hmm.
is in part in tribute to Glenn, but you
Right, right.
play in your show you play a lot of disco, and I love how
Yeah.
you mix it. I love how you mix it into other genres of music.
Yeah. Think about it is this. When I grew up, like I said, I grew up with AM radio, and there was a station where I lived. It was like across the Lake Erie. I grew up in Cleveland, actually Lorain, Ohio, where it's suburb of Cleveland. there was a radio station called CKLW, and you would hear they would play like a Motown record, and right after that they'll play like Paul McCartney. You know what I mean? And then after
Right.
that they'll play. Yeah, it wasn't segregated music. It was just like one radio station, and you hear everything. So growing up, that's what I was used to, and to this very day, I play like that. I can't play one genre. That's why like a lot of that's why it's hard for a lot of clubs to book me because I mean, I know what to play at certain clubs, of course, but I like to take people like on a journey, on a ride. You know what I mean? And like pull out a record that like, I don't know why I have this sense in me, like an extra sense when I walk in a club or when I'm playing. I could just look at certain people and be like, okay, they're gonna like this next track or whatever, and I never fail, man. It's like a extra sense I have in me, that God gave me, and I use it all the time, man, and it never lets me down, man. I could play anywhere, I could be in Amsterdam, and I remember I played this big, humongous club. It was like, I mean, humongous.
You were
And it was
just
just
in
like,
Europe. You were just in Europe a few
yeah,
months ago.
yeah. And
You
I
played. Where did
remember
you
like
play?
that was a private party. It was an underground private
Okay,
party. I do a lot of those too, who like it's it's just like you said, just like invitation only. You know what I mean? Stuff like
sure.
that. And smaller
Well, private
gatherings, not
parties,
like
private parties are really big, so it's not like you're playing for 40 people. You're flying
no,
out
no,
there.
no.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
flying out there for a few hundred, maybe a
Hmm.
thousand people, and that's still a private party because it's by invitation only. Now,
Right. It's like
something that you brought up when you were talking about how you grew up listening to AM radio, and I also grew up to that, listening to the Jackson Five and Paul McCartney and Carly Simon and Rod Stewart. I was listening to
hmm
all this amazing music, Motown music, but that to me as a kid, I really never said, "Oh, that's a black record, that's a Spanish." I knew
Yeah, me
Spanish
neither.
music. I knew
Yeah.
Spanish music. I would say that's Spanish, that's Puerto Rican music or
Yeah.
Cuban music or whatever. But in general, our music, our landscape in music, I never looked or thought of it in uh in color in racial
Yeah,
uh
yeah, yeah. Me
but
neither. Me neither.
yeah.
It didn't even cross my mind, of that. It was just all good music. It was good music. That's it.
Blood, Sweat,
That's what
and
you call it.
Tears, Tony Orlando, and
Oh
Dawn.
man.
You
Yeah.
would then hear
Yeah.
Melissa Manchester. I mean, it just kept going, one artist after another there. And to me, it was just all just wonderful. I never had anyone say to me in Brooklyn, in Brownsville, Brooklyn, "Oh, your music is too this or your music," because my palette was so varied. But that's also because of the way we listen to music at home.
Absolutely. Wait, think about this too. Elton John. I mean, he was on Soul Train. You know what I
I
mean? With
know.
Philadelphia Freedom.
He
You know what I'm
was. Yeah,
saying?
you're right. You're right. He
And,
was.
and, and, and so was David Bowie, Fame.
But the
You
thing is
know?
that they were on Soul Train because the songs that they were promoting or they happened to have out had that
Hmm.
R&B flavor to it. And
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
the soul community embraced it. And Don Cornelius, the late great Don
Yeah,
Cornelius,
absolutely. Yeah.
he had a way to keep the show interesting by every now and then sprinkling it with some very interesting guests. He had the Village People on Soul
I was
Train.
just going to say, I watched it. I was right there watching it, man.
I was
It
a
was
little,
awesome.
I was nervous. I was nervous. I'm gonna be honest. I was nervous
Why?
because it was like I grew up to Soul Train and I would watch it on TV, and that was the show. You had American Bandstand,
American
and then
Bandstand too. Yeah.
and that's to the middle of the road, But then when you put on Soul Train and you saw the latest dances, and they threw it down. They actually would give you a dance
Oh
that
yeah.
week and all that. So I felt like that is like school. This is home, and now
Oh
I'm
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
neighborhood. And are they really gonna like this music? And they did.
Wow. No, no. I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, just putting the video out. I watched it I think, a couple months back actually. I actually saw watched that video of you guys on Soul Train. Everyone was into it, man. And then you guys had a really good choreographed dance where you guys were all doing something different. Um, yeah, man, they loved it. They loved
Well,
it.
also the
What?
lead vocal was R&B with the
Yeah.
with the great Victor Willis. His voice was, he was the Teddy Pendergrass of disco. With such
Yeah,
a He had
absolutely.
such a huge, powerful voice. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
there was nothing like it.
No, no, no. I mean, you guys had the distinctive sound, man. I mean, the disco, plus you had to have that band, Bittersweet. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my God, you remember the band? Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I used to look at your
They
album
were
covers and
little, they were the proteges of Gypsy Lane, who was the studio recording band
wow.
for all of our music. But these little boys, again, 16, 17 years old, they were the proteges of Gypsy Lane. And so our ex-producer, the late Jacques Morale, said, you guys need, we have to put a band together. You have to go out live to to
Uh,
discotheques. We didn't play tracks. We didn't have tracks
yeah.
like
No, no, you had
today.
bands. I remember.
Today I
Yeah, yeah.
perform and I have my band on a flash drive. Occasionally, when I can put in some other musicians and this and that, good. But back
Yeah.
then, we would literally put the monitors on the
Right.
dance floor with lights hitting us, and we would perform live music, a show
Hmm.
in a
Hmm.
discotheque. And
Yeah.
then we do
I
we do
remember.
radio, we do TV and in stores. And the records just
Wow.
kept selling.
What was cool about you, man? I remember like I'll read like all the, like I was always into like the musicians who play bass, and all that. And then I saw Footbells, Felipe Rose. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, he even does this,
Well,
the footbells, your
well,
bells.
that's what got that. Thank you. That's what got the ex producer's attention. He heard this sound and
Yeah.
said, "What is this? What is this sound? It's not a tambourine." And
Yeah.
Beerus Whitehead said, "Oh, that's that native guy, that Indian. They used to say Indian
Uh-huh.
dancer. He's a dancer percussionist. So when he dances,
Wow.
he does percussion to the music. Still like
Yeah.
having it's like having congas in a club, or
Yeah.
maracas, or
Yeah.
timbales, or
Yeah.
claves.
Yeah.
Um, there were people that had their whistles. There were people that had maracas, studio maracas. I
Right.
had
Right.
I had my sleigh bells.
But you were always on point, which made it easier for us DJs to mix. Ting, ting. Your feet was always like the kick drum. You know what I mean? It was always like you were always
Right,
right on
right.
point. I'm like, God, this guy's a machine,
I
man.
would even the drummer sometimes would say to me, "Yeah, I was off. I got back on beat because you were dancing, and I heard the bells, and I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
back. I
yeah,
got in sync. I got in sync.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Definitely, man. And it still works, man. To this very day. If I
well,
drop
yeah,
like
it
one of these
does. It
tracks.
does. It does. And that's an education that I received. That's priceless. You can't put any amount of
Mm,
money on that, because I went from dancer, percussionist to singer. Of course, acting, and an act,
hmm.
but in life we put on whatever outfits we're gonna wear, or our costume to walk out on the street, because costume is drag. Everybody wears drag,
Right.
and then you take
Hmm.
on that persona of who you want to be today. And so
Yeah.
for me, that entire era with the group, that was an education that's so invaluable, that I learned how to just hang in the studio and listen how they put music down and how they mixed it.
Hmm.
Okay, here come the verses. They're writing the verses. Oh, they're breaking it down vocally. So it was really, I learned a lot that in that process, and I've applied that through life.
Right. Right. And what was cool back then too, the songs were so much longer. Like now you have to make a track in 2 minutes. And I'm serious, it's like I actually like Trax Records from Chicago. Like
You know
we
something, you're you
uh
know you're absolutely right. They don't really
I'm
make
serious.
real. The only person that really gives you
No.
remixes, the only person that gives you
Mm.
remixes if she puts a new music out is Madonna.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
people today, like Adam Lambert, just dropped an album. He needed to
yeah.
drop a remix on the song he was promoting. You
Right,
know,
right.
a lot of
Yeah,
labels are not
it's
taking the time out to do remixes. It's the DJs now that are either contacted, like the great Tony
hmm.
Moran,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Rob.
Yeah, he's
You
amazing.
know, there are DJs today that labels do give them the the
Hmm.
the stems
Yeah,
to
the
do
stems,
to
right.
do remixes, or I think they probably do it on their own. But I don't really
Yeah,
think
there's
labels
ways.
today.
There's ways. I mean, I just say that there is groups out there of DJs that can get access to with my cat on my screen, get access to acapellas, and then from there they just build it themselves, you know.
Now
So
I don't know if record labels are offering that or DJs contact the
I
label.
think I personally think that yeah, either that. I think it's either that or maybe someone in the label suggest, what I mean, maybe, like on the sneak tip, but it always works though. I mean, it always benefits the artist. You know what
Well,
I
it
mean? And
does.
then
It does because it takes
yeah,
the song right to the people that are on the dance floor.
exactly,
And those are
exactly.
the people
Yeah,
sometimes that are not listening to radio.
exactly. Yeah. Like I mean, I stopped listening to radio since I mean, I still did radio shows. Like when I was in Miami, I did 93, Party 93. And I mix my show. I do my shows live from the club and simulcast on the radio, and that was it. You know what I mean? But to listen to the station, I want to listen to it. The music, man. I mean, since 2010, I stopped watching TV and I stopped listening to radio completely. Because to me, it was just garbage, man. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but it was to me, it was nothing I was into. You know what I mean? So even now to this day, I don't know if you see me, like I'm like re-editing stuff just to play on my podcast. I'll get a song, whether it's an old song or a new song or whatever, and I'll just chop it up, man. I'll just get it like from the label that sent it to me, and I'll chop it up to make it sound more like DJ M-Traxxx or AKA Manny Cuevas record. You know what I
Right,
mean?
because
Just
yeah,
fit.
because you have an extensive library on SoundCloud. You also
Hmm.
have music on Instagram. Then you have your Mixcloud. Is your show on Mixcloud?
It's on Mixcloud as well, yeah.
It's on
Hmm.
Mixcloud. Then you have YouTube, and then you're on Twitter. So
Yeah.
of course, our listeners will find you later when we get
Yeah.
to that part. So, what are you working on right now, presently?
Right now I'm working on a couple different things. Of course, re-edits. It's like priority lately. I don't know why. I just got so into doing those. I'm also working on another project with Josh, which is like a group. Like we're like a group, and it's kind of like the Pet Shop Boys, I guess you could say. But it's more industrial. Industrial is like harder electronic music, kind of like groups like Ministry, Netzareb, because I was into that before I was into house music. I was into that really just hard and basically screaming voice music, you know what I mean? Just kind of like letting out your aggression. So we're working on that. We're working on an album for that. It's taking more time because of the fact that he lives in Miami and I live out in the country. It's like a 4 hour drive. So,
Yeah,
it's, it's been harder lately for us to get together because he works a lot. And the days he works, it's vice versa. Like the day I'm off, he works. You know what I mean? So it's just like we're trying to
sure,
figure
sure.
it out. So,
It's
but thank God, like hopefully,
you were supposed to be on the show months and months and months ago, but the
yeah,
schedule just kept getting uh
yeah, yeah,
was being changed constantly.
yeah,
I love that on a lot of your mixes you lay in heavy with Donna. You really give us nice
yeah.
mixes on
Thank you.
Donna, and you take her music through trips, which I like the
Right.
way you start with her and how you ascend and then how you end
Wow.
with her.
Thank you. coming from you, that means a lot. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that means a lot to me, man. I mean, even just talking to you right now because, oh, let me just pull this up. When you gave me this, I remember you gave me this. It's like back in 2007, I think. You
I
see
hope it's
this?
not some gold valuable jewelry. Oh,
Oh, well, he wrote to the best
oh.
DJ and the hottest DJ in the whole world. I'm like, for that
Well,
to
I
come
meant
from,
hot back in the day. Yeah, you still do. You
you
still look
know,
hot. You still look good.
yeah. Oh, thank you, man. And so
People don't
yeah,
get it twisted that you're listening out there. We're really good friends.
yes. Well, you know what? We might even be cousins because I just found out his mother's last name's Ortiz, and so is mine. And I saw the picture of your mother that you posted on Mother's Day, and she looks like my mother. You know what I mean?
Did
I'm
you see
like,
what someone did you see what someone did with that picture? They actually
no,
made it move, like her eyes are blinking and all that.
are you serious? I have to
That
go check it
it's
out.
scary.
Wow,
It's like she's right there. She just moves her head and she blinks, and it's like, wow.
wow,
Yeah, well,
wow. That's crazy.
we're right now in chat, what is it? Chat PT and AI
Okay,
era is upon is upon us right now. We really don't
yeah.
know what AI is going to do. Although just recently, I believe it could have been as early as last week. The Weeknd and Drake had songs removed from iTunes and what have you. New songs by them they were not them using their voices.
What?
It was
Really?
AI. It was reported as AI.
As a matter of fact, I heard what was that DJ from overseas?
Yeah, but imagine they that these two are the largest, one of some of the two of the largest recording artists in the world, and two new songs came out on each of them, and immediately
Uh-huh.
shot to number one. And then they're saying that's not me. I didn't record that
Wow.
song. So this is
Yeah.
we're moving into some very dangerous territory.
No, no. It's funny you say that because I just heard about that just recently talking to Josh.
Well, I don't
He
know
was
if
telling
it's
me that.
dangerous. I don't, Manny. I don't know if it's dangerous, but when you take someone's voice or you say it's them singing and you're manipulating the mannerisms and the vocal activity of a human being,
Right.
that's what to me it's dangerous.
No, no, it's dangerous. I mean, like I was saying, that this DJ he used Eminem's voice, and his song went to number one right away. What's his name? He was a popular DJ, David Guetta,
Yeah, but David Guetta, I
and
think that what he did was he sampled that. That was a legitimate
oh, really?
sample,
Okay.
a
I mean, yeah, it
legitimate
could be.
sample
Yeah.
remix by Dave Guetta. No, this is AI robots that just Google it. It was on the news.
Wow.
It
I
was
gotta
on the
check it out,
business
man.
news, CSNBC. Because,
So it gets your voice, and you could create a song with that person's voice. That's
yeah, or
scary.
if they did, or if an AI, so several AIs did a brand new Village People song, but Village People's not together today as we
Wow.
know it. And then suddenly
Yeah, yeah.
they're back, the original members, they're back, and they've got a new song. It could happen now.
Wow.
And they would
Wow.
just put
That's
up
scary.
a picture of our images of what we
Yeah.
either look like now. It's just very weird where we are right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. I have to agree with you there, man. It's like it's gotten so crazy now. It's to the point where like it's hard to trust. It's hard to trust. It's hard to, you know, that's why I don't watch TV much, man. And not only that, like even with guns and all that, I've never shot a gun for my life, man. And my dad, he was more of a street guy. He always had a gun.
Okay.
He'll shoot it every New Year's, of course. But
Well, Manny, we have to hold that thought because I forgot we have to take a break.
okay.
So we will be right back with DJ M-Traxxx, also known as Manny Cuevas. You're listening to us on Spotify.com and Anchor.com, and we'll be right back. We're taking our first break. resume our conversation with DJ M-Traxxx from Miami,
There you
Florida.
go.
Manny, you're there with us?
I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Okay, let's keep talking music. Come on. Let's talk
Absolutely,
about
absolutely.
let's talk about music and uh we know what happened to disco. It was killed off by radio. I mean, there are
Mhm.
many DJs out today, and one in particular, Nicky Siano, who's really now,
Oh,
he's
amazing.
really telling the truth, and he's laying down the history the way it went down, not other
Hmm.
younger generations piecing our history together. He and
Right.
Robbie Leslie and Tony Moran, a lot of DJs are out there now telling it the
The
way
truth.
it went down,
Yeah.
where how disco
Yeah.
began, how it was, radio couldn't control it. They had to kill it off, and we know where it went. But
Hmm.
it didn't just die, it turned into house music,
No.
Chicago
Hmm.
house
Yep.
music, into freestyle. It morphed into a lot of different um genres and styles of music, and yet today it's even sampled in a lot of music from today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just about every. I'm actually a lot of house music samples, a lot of like disco records. You know. Um, and like I said too, also there's a lot of re-edits. There was one done by the Horse Meat Disco. I think they're from the UK. They did a re-edit of Fire Island. And it's hot, man.
Oh, really?
It's
Of our
really good.
song, Fire
Yeah,
Island?
yeah. They did a re-edit. I actually played on my few of my podcasts. They're like known to play like disco, like straight up disco at their
And then was
parties.
this recent that they
No, this re-edit was done. I would say about
oh,
like I said, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago.
oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and but they're the very their parties are disco parties. They play all disco. You know what I mean? It's like going back in time. And there's like maybe 5 guys I guess involved in that group, and they just kind of like rotate. You know what I mean? They tag team DJs and stuff like that, and they're good. I mean, they're great, absolutely
Yeah,
amazing.
I'm right now working with Gimme Gimme Disco,
Uh-huh.
and they come in, they set up the evening, when the party is over at a venue at 11
Hmm.
o'clock. If it's an early show, they take over the venue, they dress it up, clean it up, dress it up, the stage, and they put a table on the stage with a DJ and some guy emceeing on a microphone wearing disco clothes, shirts, this, that, and he sings with the music and gets the crowd pumping. But what happens is they open the doors at midnight, and
Uh-huh.
literally they have a set audience from 21 to 34, and they
Oh wow.
when the doors open the doors open at midnight. By 1 a.m. there's got to be almost 1,000 people singing and jumping and
Wow.
dancing and crying to ABBA, Dancing Queen, and
Oh my
and
God.
singing to every disco song, doing shots, having the best time of their lives. And
It was
then
a
I
great
come
time.
on, and then I come on in the middle of the night, and I
Oh
appear,
my God.
and I do like a 20-minute set, 25-minute
Oh,
set, and
nice.
they
Nice.
they lose their minds.
Yeah, man. I saw that video before we came on. I was just blown away. You were doing like with the little
I did
flags.
I pulled out my club flags. They didn't see where that came from either.
Yeah. Wow.
I had to hold some girl's hand while in the first song number, when I was singing. I
Really?
looked down and I thought she was just reaching out to me, so we were so close. I reached out
Uh-huh.
to held her hand while I was singing, but then when I looked down again, she she had tears rolling down her face. She was
Oh
literally
my
crying
God.
for real.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
wow, I was struck emotionally. It was really blew me
Yeah,
away. And I had her
yeah.
come backstage. They brought her backstage after the set. But at that moment, because I couldn't hold her hand for the rest of the show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I took off a feather from her because I put two feathers in here, imitation eagle feathers, and I gave her a feather and
Right.
calmed her down. But I had my moment with a fan that, emotional moment, which I found
Yeah.
just so beautiful and so pure.
Well, music does that. By the way, was it a feather like this?
Uh, yeah, but it was one in white. But though, yeah, you
Okay.
have yours. You
I have
have
a
yours.
couple. Yeah, I
Oh
had a
my goodness.
couple.
So listen, so again, let's tell everyone where or our listeners where they can find you.
Okay. You can find me. Actually, you just simply go to my SoundCloud.com/DJMTRAXXX. And then right below that, to the right, you're going to see my booking agency and you're going to see all my social media. Just go ahead and each and every one of them and, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe. And if you want to book me, it's, let me see here. Uh, how embarrassing. Well, anyway, just go to my SoundCloud. It's BPM Booking Agency. And
Yeah, well, they're the ones
uh,
that book you, and they book you at these private shows.
yeah, everything. All my bookings, you gotta go through them. I can't do my own stuff anymore.
Right,
So
right.
go there, like you'll see them, they're right there. So you go on SoundCloud, right there. You'll see right under my picture. I mean, on the right side, you see, my booking agency. Just click onto that. It'll take you right to the booking agent and then whatever. But below that, you'll see a list of all my social media and just click on each one of them. And like I said, subscribe and like and we'll stay connected. Because I mean, I want to learn new stuff too. You know what I mean? Like I'm always down. I always get emails and messages from younger cats, like in their early 20s, asking for advice. And then, I do the same thing too. I reach out to younger cats, girls now, a bunch of girl DJs now too, and ask for advice. I'm not ashamed,
I
man.
love
You know what I
that
mean?
too, and with younger singers, and we're now mentors. We now can step
Yeah.
into that role as elders.
Right, right. You know what I mean? So I'm not afraid or I don't have too much pride to look to a younger person and be like, hey, how did you work on that? Or what programs or whatever, whatever it may be. But, you know, learn from each other, man. I mean, like back in the days, I was learning from the old schoolers, you know what I mean? I remember like when we had the Puerto Festival every year, we lived right from a park, Oakwood Park, and Hector Lavoe come down and Gran Combo, Celia Cruz, all of them, I mean? And I would go there and I'd be like just blown away, 'cause I love the instruments, I'm like, wow, man, these people,
Celia Cruz, I met her once. She was
really?
beloved by so many, by millions of people.
Oh
And they
yeah,
would actually book her like in other serious concerts with other artists, and there's Celia Cruz playing on the same night. It didn't matter whether it was one rock artist or one independent music artist or one
yeah,
country star. You, if you had Celia Cruz on the bill, you knew that it was the party.
yeah. I gotta tell you, you know what? Like freestyle music, that music never died either. Like this though, like
Well, we're right now celebrating the Disco Chronicles and Beyond is right now this month celebrating freestyle music with a few of
yeah,
the guests. Each of the guests that we're having on, as of
mhm,
today, all the way down to the end of the month, ending with Tony Moran, they've dropped
mm,
singles, EPs, LPs, and vinyl records, and have
yeah,
charted.
wow, wow, yeah. I mean, one of my favorites back then was Noel because I mean, just the way he danced, man. He had
He's
especially
around. He's still
uh,
around. He's still
oh yeah,
George Lamont. George Lamont
George
is around.
Lamont, yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, they always come to Florida, like either Orlando or Miami, all the time. As a matter of fact, my brother just sent me a link to a big party somewhere like a small island off Miami or something like that. And Tony Moran's will be there, Cynthia, all TKA, all the greats are gonna be the performing, man. I'm like, wow, that's gonna be a party, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
freestyle,
Tony's record just Hurt So Bad just went to number one a month ago on
really?
iTunes,
Oh
Amazon,
wow,
Spotify, yeah, and on streaming channels around the world, number one. Freestyle.
wow, wow. Well, I mean, he had an amazing voice, man. He still does. I mean,
He still
his voice
does,
is
and he
great.
looks
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh,
He
it
looks
looks,
amazing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's still doing good, man. I actually went to a few of his parties back in the early 2000, 2005, 4 or 5, when circuit music was really big in Miami, after hour parties and stuff like that. And my friend was a good friend of his. We'd get to all the parties, man, and it was just like he was an amazing DJ. At one point, he would get on the mic and sing. He did his own version of the song, "The Promise." Remember the Promise? I'll promise you, I will. I'm not a singer, but "The Promise."
I
Well, he
don't know
sang
that
it.
song. I don't know it.
Really, I know if I sung it right, you know it.
If I heard it, I would remember it.
Well, he did a version of it, and I don't think it was ever released, but I have a copy somewhere, man. And anyways, he sung it at this club, and I remember I was like, wow, this guy still got it, man. You
Well,
know, and this is like,
I'll have to send you my next single that I'm gonna
absolutely
put out. I'll put out an EP. And
okay.
it's more more in the Latin vein, very
Yeah,
kind of
nice.
well when Estelle heard it and she's behind the logo there, writing, taking notes. I
Hmm.
played it when I first laid down the scratch vocals, not the permanent
Right,
vocal. I played it for
right.
her and she said, "Okay, Ricky Martin, go ahead." So it's got that flavor. So I'm kind of
Okay,
happy. I'm kind of happy
that's
that
good. Yeah.
it's a love song, but now we're also doing a disco version of
Oh,
it.
nice.
My
Oh,
producer's
nice.
he's 30 years old. I want him to give me a full-on disco version of it so I can do it at these gimme disco shows.
Yeah, these young producers are really good because I mean, they're not. I mean, they grew up with all this programs. You know what I mean? Like like my grandson Jaden, man, he's about to turn 7. I mean, he has his little we call it iPad or whatever, and he be playing, music and stuff like that. And one day we went to the store, and my daughter ran inside to get something, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I hear this music. I'm like, Jaden, what are you listening to? He's like, oh, he goes, it's DJ Marshmello. So
Yeah,
I'm like, DJ Marshmello, because I never really told him that I DJ. You know what I mean? I just
he
never
did.
told him
He
I DJ.
just had a great record with the Jonas Brothers. They had a
Are you
great song
serious?
out.
Really?
Yeah, they're a huge
Oh,
song, huge.
oh my God. Well, he showed me the video, and he's like, Grandpa, this is what I want to be. And I'm like, wow.
Wow.
So then I went ahead and I put out a video of me playing, it was like about 2010 in Ecuador. And I showed it to him, and he's looking at it. Him and my granddaughter are looking at it like, oh, Grandpa, that's you, And they're like, you didn't tell me, DJ, So I'm like, well, you know
Oh,
what? Now you're gonna have to
you
learn.
didn't tell him you were a DJ?
No, I never did. I never did. I never, I don't know, And now I to my daughter, I said, now you guys got to start coming in more often, and I'm gonna show them the old school way, and to the new school way, of course.
Absolutely,
You
absolutely. Show him
know,
the old school way.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because my brothers in Miami, their son, Jesus, son Christian, he's about like 12, 11, 12. He's already, scratching and all this now, man. I'm like, oh my God. These guys learn quick, man. This
You have
whole
a
new
great
generation.
family. You have a great family. I love when you go out to concerts with your
Hmm.
brothers.
Oh my God.
How
We
many
like,
brothers do you have?
okay, there's 4 boys and 4 girls.
Wow, but one show you went to see, I think it was before the pandemic. Four of you went out together, and
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
think it was a weekend of concerts and shows and partying.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
guys were lit.
Oh, dude, we were gone, man. It was fun, though. I mean, we always, I mean, it's funny 'cause, like, like we grew up with that music, you know what I mean? And actually they just turned 50 not so long ago, the twins. And my brother Ricky, I think is 62, 61, I forget. But anyways, we grew up with that stuff. You know what I mean? That's like we lived it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, you
to read
lived.
about
You
it,
lived it. Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You can't recreate the school. You just can't. I mean, it sounds great and everything, but I
No,
mean,
you
it's
can't.
like you remember those days, man. You dance until 12 noon the next Sunday. You know what I mean? And it's like,
but the interesting thing was that
Hmm.
because the group was more of a jeans and leather. Well, I wore buckskin a lot,
Yeah.
but it wasn't a dress up kind of group. Like
No.
that stage gear, we actually dressed the way we would appear on stage. We would
Right.
board a plane and we're all in denim or leather
Right.
jackets and denim and
Right.
jeans. So I took it upon myself to always be dressed, wear the big hats with the coats, and the guys
Yeah.
used to see me walking through the airport, coming to the check-in counter, and they would look at me. They gave me a road name. They were Rolando Famoso is on his way. And I
That's
even had like a
great, man.
shawl cape. I mean, I love clothes. So
Yeah,
I took
yeah.
advantage I took advantage of if they weren't traveling dressed, I was sitting in
Yeah,
business
yeah.
at first class. Yeah.
Yeah. I got to hang out with you guys a couple times. I remember one time I was backstage with you guys, and you guys are like we're like a big family. You guys always joking around and like what's his name? David Hodo, and he's funny as hell, man.
Funny
And
man. Funny
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah. And it was just like you guys were like a straight up family, just straight up bugging out, and I had such a good time. The only quiet one was Alex. He's kind
The
of quiet,
soldier.
right?
The soldier, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He's kind of a little quiet, but
He
very
was not
kind, man.
quiet. He was not quiet. He was watching everybody.
Oh, yeah, that's what he was doing, observing. Yeah,
Watching everyone. Yeah.
but he's got a
So
great
so
voice
Manny,
too.
listen, I want to thank you for this long overdue um
Absolutely, absolutely.
interview.
My honor.
You will get a copy of it. You can put it up on your social media pages. And we this show was born during the lockdown, the
Yeah.
pandemic. So out of this need to have everyone tell their truth and tell their stories, and rather than having someone else make it up, just gives me
Right.
joy. Just like I'm now reliving my life because I was always on stage
Hmm.
on the inside looking out. And it's nice to talk to people that I know and like yourself that were on the outside looking in. And that
Right.
always takes me to those places that I didn't get to go because I was always touring.
Yeah, you always performing, man. But
I
it's
will
because
leave you
people
in a
like
burning
you.
building to go. I will leave you in a burning building to go off and do Village People.
But you know what?
Felipe, can
We
you
gotta thank.
take me to the hospital? When I come back, I'm heading to the airport.
No, but you know what? I mean, we gotta thank you guys too. I mean, for giving us the music, man, because the music has gotten us not only to go out clubbing, but it's gotten me through personal, demons. Things that I had to go through that we can't talk about here. And like I said, man, without music, my life would have been off key completely, man. And I thank you guys. You know what I mean? All the artists, the Village people, you, Felipe, and all the other disco people, and whatever other groups I got into, in house music and whatnot. Music is my way to escape. I mean, when I'm listening to music, man, I have these buds. If I want to go for a little run or something, I'm in another world, man, completely.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
or you go for your walks in the back of your swamp.
Oh, oh yeah, I know.
I
That's my
remember now. I now remembered, because you said you were you go out for your walks. I now remember why one of the shows was canceled. We had to postpone it because you had the hurricane.
yeah, that was ugly, man. That
What
hurricane
was that hurricane?
Irma, Irma. How
Irma.
can I forget her name? Yeah, and then right behind her was Nicole, like a week later. Like
Right.
boom, boom.
So we
You
canceled
know,
with you,
yeah, we canceled. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
But
you're
I'm glad we
okay
did the
now.
show. I'm good now, man. I'm blessed. This
Amen.
right here is a dream come true. Felipe Rose of the Village People, one of my mentors in music, and
Oh my
now I'm on
God. I
his
never knew
show.
that. I never knew
You
that.
know,
Thank you.
oh, absolutely. Come on, man. And I even got to work with you musically. So,
Actually, we
hey,
did.
man.
We
Yeah,
did.
and so I'm blessed, man. And I just want to say thank you. Love you, bro. Love you
I
to
love you
death,
too,
man.
man. I love you too. So listen, be well, take care. I should be. I hope I'm
Okay.
planning. I'm threatening to go down there this summer. But it's
Let me
going to be
know. Let me
business.
know.
But I will do that. I will do that. So I want to say hello to your
Okay.
family for me,
Absolutely.
your
Absolutely.
daughter, your daughter, and everything. Stay well, stay blessed. I love you dearly,
I love
ladies
you
and
too.
gentlemen. That was my conversation with DJ M-Traxxx, also known as Manny Cuevas. I want to thank you all for listening and watching us on Spotify.com and on Anchor FM. Take care. Keep the music going. Keep it alive.
God bless.
Better check your style.